It's just 11 o'clock at night, so it's not too bad. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think we usually only do these for about 50 minutes or so, less than an hour.
Yeah, man, that's cool, yeah.
Okay. Where are you right now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in my bedroom at home, so yeah, this is the setup.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm in my bedroom at home, so like this is the setup. Yeah.
Oh, where are you in the world right now?
Oh, Liverpool in England.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Are you going to school right now? Film school or anything?
I'm currently in university. Yeah, studying film and TV. So that's cool.
University?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, your audio is coming through kind of quiet. I'm just trying to see if I can boost that somehow. Obviously, something to do before the show starts, but dang it, I'm not as familiar with the tools for Google Hangouts as I should be. Maybe if I... Okay, maybe that'll help. Okay. So I guess I could do the introduction. Hello, this is Video Drone, the interview show with me, Disregarding Henry, where I talk to people. I got my dad out in the garage working on stuff, so that'll be nice to have in the background. And I am joined by Jack McLoughlin. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, who is in Liverpool right now. And yeah, we're going to talk about his movies and his influences and whatnot, all the stuff we usually talk about. Not really a heavily interactive show like the other version of Video Drone, so if I don't acknowledge the chat too much, please don't take it personally. It's kind of a one-on-one thing. So, Jack, you were doing well, I trust?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Yeah. You go there, yeah?
I'm still getting quiet audio. I'm so sorry about this.
Oh,
What is that? Bandwidth? Camera? Darn it. Okay, oh, here we go. Try that. Hello?
Hello, is that okay?
Try another one.
Hello?
That's a little better.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. Yeah, I'm getting very quiet audio. Okay. Well, let's try to deal with it best we can. So, Jack, you said you are going to university right now. Are you studying film, or is it just kind of you're making films as you're going to school?
It's a bit of both, to be honest. I'm studying film, yeah, but also making films in the meantime. So, yeah, it's a bit of both.
Okay. Are you like using equipment from the school and stuff, and just kind of going out and making these things?
Yeah, like the university is really good. They'll let us hire the stuff out and shoot on. So, really good for that. Like, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. And you have been sending me work for a little while, haven't you? Like yeah, I didn't even realize some of your or just looking on your YouTube channel, which anyone interested in watching Jack's work, there is a link to his YouTube channel in the description for this video. You can go there, check stuff out. We're going to talk about a few shorts. Sorry?
Just saying thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Google Hangouts is kind of funny. Like if both of us are talking simultaneously, like your audio will cut out, so I'll oftentimes miss what people are saying, when I'm trying to do these. So it's a little tricky, but I try to work with it. Yeah, but I didn't even realize, I'd totally forgotten. But yeah, like one of your earliest things that you uploaded, you actually sent to me, and I watched and gave you feedback on RAM, Romantically Attached Machine. I'd totally forgotten about that one. So
I remember that.
Yeah, I still remember that one. I remember, yeah, it was this very simple idea, you know, just a guy basically just sitting at a computer and kind of interacting with text essentially, and it's just kind of like cutting back and forth, you know, between him and just this text on screen. But I remember thinking it was really well done, you know, that you did a good job of using, you know, this kind of limited staging opportunity and making it visually dynamic and engaging and actually really telling a story in an effective way. You know, you're just using the simplest kind of setup. But I remember liking that one.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I saw a couple of your others. I saw High Score, which is, how would you describe High Score? Is it kind of like, would you say it's a comedy? It's a horror film?
I describe it as kind of very pitch black, dark comedy, kind of Evil Dead like comedy, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that
But
was a good.
it's definitely got a bit of surrealness in there as well. I like to think David Lynch, you know. So
Yeah, yeah. Kind of a De Palma-esque ending, I would say too, where it's kind of ambiguous. You like wonder if the ending is real or not, or you know, if it's a dream or a fantasy, or if it actually happened.
yeah, definitely.
And then yeah, okay. So you just recently sent me two of your newer shorts. So I watched both of those. We could talk about those. But definitely tracking your progress, you know, through these shorts that you've been sending me over last, I don't know, like a couple years, would you say?
Yeah, it's been quite a few years, like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, wow, weird to think. Um, but yeah, these last two, I think, really show that like your growth. Like it's impressive to like to watch, to see the films grow more confident, and for you to see you trying different things with each one, and really how your skill is developing, and the shorts, you know, are getting more and more well put together, and you know, getting more and more bold stylistically. It's really cool to see your progress happening like that. um, so I watched Dropouts and Kids, which was one you recently sent me. Is this a newer one?
Yeah, we shot that in, I think it was April we shot that, so yeah, that's quite new.
Okay, so this year.
Yeah, this year it was, yeah.
Oh, okay. And that one, that's really just kind of like a dialogue scene, basically, right?
Yeah, it was just kind of me and my friends, we just kind of were like, we were bored one day and I thought, you know, let's just make a movie because there's nothing else to do, you know, and it was kind of off the cuff really. So
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, it was a great film to shoot. Like we did it really quickly as well. I think it took like less than an hour, and then but it was like just all off the top of our heads really, you know. So,
Wow. So it was improvised?
pretty much, yeah. Most of it was improvised. Like
That's very impressive.
there's a scene in the film where you can hear a parrot keeps on squeaking.
Yeah, yeah.
That kept happening in the take, so I thought, you know what, we'll just roll with it, and I'll say that a parrot next door, you know, and then it just built up from there. Really, just that kind
Yeah,
of. Yeah.
that's very cool. To me, it almost kind of like watching it, I was sort of reminded like of the looseness and like the naturalism of like a Mike Lee movie or something, you know, where it's just kind of about settling in and, you know, just kind of watching characters interact and talk about, you know, lives, getting a sense of, you know, things happening beyond the frame, that like that these people are coming in with all these problems and things that they're dealing with, and you're just kind of glimpsing at a little piece of it. Watching it, I kind of got that. I got that impression. So it's very surprising to me to find out that that was just a thing done off the top of your head, because I thought it was very well executed.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah.
So that wasn't like a school project or anything. That was just something you did for fun.
Yeah. Well, I kind of got this idea of a feature film in mind, which is kind of a continuation of that. So I just wanted to test the water really to see like what it would maybe look like stylistically and like theme wise if we went ahead with the feature version of it, you know. So it was more like testing the water. But
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Just
we were
like
quite happy with the result, like, you know. So yeah, glad you like it as well.
yeah, yeah. So like just trying out like the black and white and like setups and capturing dialogue in that way.
Yeah, quite like that. Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. And then the sorry, were you saying something?
Oh no, no, that wasn't.
Okay. And so the other one you sent me, this is your most recent short, right? It's called Don't Look.
Yeah, that's you go. Yeah, that's the most recent one.
Okay. And this is, it's fair to call it a horror short, right?
Yeah, it's definitely yeah, definitely a horror film. Yeah, horror short. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And yeah, watching this one, I gotta say, I was very struck by how confidently put together it is, because I've enjoyed all the stuff you've sent to me. But of course, you can tell. You're learning your process. You're trying things, and you're learning from mistakes. There's rough edges here and there. But I gotta say, seeing like how your I get just how your abilities and your skill have developed. Like watching Don't Look, I was really like, wow, this is pretty well polished. This is pretty well put together. Like this guy's definitely figuring out his craft very, very quickly. I got to say, I was impressed by that.
Oh yeah, thanks, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is well, it's basically just kind of. I got echoes of The Grudge. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, yeah, I kind of love those. Japanese horror films, the original ones, because they're just like, yeah, scare the shit out of me. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So just emulating that kind of style where it's really just all kind of about a self-contained set piece, which is really what like the original Grudge films are. They're just kind of like loosely connected set pieces.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and that's the thing as well, because it was a short film. It's like we need to, you know, if there's going to be a scare or something, we need to get into it a bit quicker. You know. So yeah.
Did you say get into the character's head?
Um, no, into the horror theme of the film, but it's like the film's 6 minutes long, so we thought we really gotta like, you know, get our points across, quite quickly, you know. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, and I feel like it's based kind of like in thematic material too. Like it's not just like this horror set piece, which it is, and it works very well in that way. But I feel like it's also kind of trying to tackle some thematic material as well. Like I got the impression, like the way I was reading it is that it was almost like, and spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched the short yet, just a warning. But the impression that I was getting is that it was kind of about loss in some way. That it was almost like this character was being haunted by some kind of traumatic event from her past, and it was really kind of about her fear of confronting that. Is
yeah,
that fair?
yeah, you're right on the ball there. That's pretty much yeah.
All right, great.
That's the thing with, I think personally, I think both horror films are things which you can relate to personally, you know, and like whether we've all suffered loss, it's like it's confronting that head on, you know. That's quite scary to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, very cool. Well, I think you get that point across very well without, trying, I think, too hard to just like clarify everything to the audience. Like you hint it just enough where it's kind of like, oh, okay, so like this must actually be what's going on. And yeah, cinematography, editing, and sound design, I thought were all very well done. Like
oh,
you're really growing as a filmmaker here. It's very cool to see.
yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, um, I've like over the past few years, I've developed a friendship with this guy I met who he wants to be a cinematographer as well. Called Lewis Jones, his name is, and like he just got like a really great eye. So like whenever I've got a film idea, I always go to him and say, do you want to shoot it for me? And he's always like, yeah, man, sure. So it's great.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
that definitely helps, yeah, to have collaborators, yeah, and people whose sensibility you really respond to.
yeah, definitely. I think it's a collaborative medium. Filmmaking. It's like you know, yeah, it's great working together as a crew. To like
Yeah,
all achieve.
absolutely.
So yeah,
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 19.
Holy shit. Well, that's very cool. You're getting off to an auspicious start. That's very impressive.
Yeah, people usually say I look about 16, but I'm like no, 19.
It struck me, yeah, yeah. Just now, it's like, gosh, I assumed like you were already, yeah, you're like probably well into film school, but you're like fresh out of high school, right?
Um, well, it's a bit different over here in England. It's like you leave high school when you're 16, and then
Oh,
you go to college from usually 16 to 18, and then if you want, you can go to university till you're 21. So
oh, okay. So you're in the university phase now, right?
yeah, university phase. I mean,
Okay. So do they have like film schools in England? Is that part of the process at all?
you have one in London called the National Film and Television School, and quite a few people went there. Like I think Lynn Ramsey went there, and Roger Deakins, and
Oh
so
wow.
that's quite a prestigious film school in the country. Yeah, definitely.
Is it your plan to go there or to do anything like that?
Um, maybe, but I think I think once I leave university, I kind of just I want to get stuck in like planning my first feature film. Just to like, but it's like instead of waiting around for money, I'm like let's just go and do it. Like let's not think, let's just go do it. Obviously, plan it and that. You know what I mean? But that's the kind of mentality I've got where it's like, yeah, let's just go do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the right kind of mentality to have because or do you have to pay money to go to a school like that in England?
I think you might do with that particular school in London, but for the university I go to, it's no, you don't have to pay money to go there. No, so it's
Oh
great.
wow.
So that's good.
Very good, yeah. But no, yeah, that's the thing. I think certainly with American filmmakers, that is always talked about that it's so expensive to go to school, and especially going to a film school, it's very expensive. They like a lot of filmmakers will just kind of give advice to young aspiring filmmakers, say like, no, take that money you're going to spend on film school, just go and make a film. That's much better experience.
I mean, that's what one of my favorite filmmakers did, Paul Thomas Anderson. Like, I love that video where he talks about film school, and he's like, he was there for 3 days, and like he dropped out and just went and made a film with the money that his dad put aside for him. I'm like, it's just like, yeah, it's just genius. You know what I mean? Like, go and do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's gotten to the point, yeah, where definitely you can learn so much without having to go to like a formalized without having to go through a formalized educational process. You can basically figure out everything you need to know on your own. It's just a matter of working up the nerve and of getting the people and the resources together. But if you can make that happen, I mean, yeah, you can absolutely just go out there and make your own movie.
Yeah, definitely, man. I agree. It's just, I think it's one of them. Like, I haven't been to film school, so I wouldn't know. But from what people say, it's like you go there for years, and then when you come out, it's like you go, I'm a director now, and then people are like, like you start off as a runner and work your way up. But some people like, yeah, you know what I mean? It's like I think people come out with that mentality of, like, they just come out and they're like, okay, give me $25 million and I'll go and make this film. And people are like, no, like, and that's the thing. It's like, I think if you're in university or film school, like, you need to make films as well, because if you think about it, you know, if you want like $5 million to make a movie, the person who's giving you that money is going to go, well, what have you made? You know what I mean? And if you say, well, no, and I just wrote stuff, they're going to be like, no. But then there's a guy, say, who hasn't went to film school, and he's just like made films, and you know, he just shows them that, then they're more likely to give the money to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's got like a sizzle reel that he can show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, to be honest, that's how I got into my university, because I didn't really have enough points to get in, but I basically made a show reel of the films that I did, as if to say, like, you know, this is what I've done, like, kind of like, you let me in, you know what I mean? And from that show reel, they were like, yeah, we'll offer you a place, you know what I mean? So,
Wow, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you definitely have no interest then in doing like a thing where you start at the bottom and work your way up. You're just kind of like, you just want to go out there and do it, right?
I think, well, I've worked on sets the past year and stuff, and I'd like a runner.
Oh, okay.
And that's been really great, because you see that's another thing is, when you're on set, you see how it all works, and it's like, it's just amazing to see, you know. But like, yeah, you know, I would like to start as a runner maybe, but at that same time, like, yeah, continue writing, you know, features and stuff, and try and. But that's the thing as well. It's like, say if you work as a runner, like, you get contacts then, you know, like,
yeah,
get really, you know, close to like the first AD, and you go, well, do you want to come work on my film? And then if you like you enough, they'll say, yeah, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
It's definitely like two ways to go about it, you know. So
yeah, that absolutely. I've worked on a couple of just like independent shorts and an independent feature, and yeah, once you kind of meet one person, they go off to other things. It's kind of like they invite you to come along to other things as well. I've definitely experienced that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's always great to network and to meet people like that. I think that is definitely invaluable.
Yeah, it definitely is, because that's what I mean. It's like you're getting your face known then, you know what I mean? So say if a job comes up, they'll go, oh yeah, I remember him, you know what I mean? And they'll have your number off the call sheet and phone you up and say, you know, do you want to come work on this? And then, you know, you're laughing at that, you know what I mean? So that's great.
Yeah. They know you're passionate. They know you're smart. They know you'll work hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm curious, like, what kind of films drew you to filmmaking? Like, was there an age that you can recall where you realized that was what you wanted to do? Was there a film that did it? Was it a process?
I think the earliest one I can remember, I mean, this just off on a tangent, but I always remember watching Godfather at like a young age when I shouldn't have been watching The Godfather. And I always remember the horse head scene, and that was like, yeah, that stuck in my head for a bit. But I guess, I think I was 12 and I'd seen No Slumdog Millionaire, the Danny Boyle film.
Yeah.
And I remember because I stayed up late to watch that, and I had school the next morning, and it came up directed by Danny Boyle, and I was like, I recognise that name. So I looked him up on Wikipedia, and it was like, oh yeah, he won the Oscar for directing that. And then I seen I think he's from Manchester, which is like half an hour drive from where I live, and I was like, hang on, so he's from Manchester, and like he won an Oscar, like it seems so bizarre to me, do you know what I mean? And then I realised he did 20 Days Later and Sunshine, and I was like, oh, I've heard those films, so I watched them, and then it was like, basically from then on, it was like a continuous kind of learning curve, you know. Then I got into Tarantino, and yeah, it all just went off from there, really.
Yeah. Interesting. So it was Danny Boyle that did it, and having like that personal connections. Like he's just a guy that basically came from the same place I came from, so it's not like a separate world. It's something that's achievable.
Yeah, it was one of them, really. It was like, well, you know, if he can do it, I can do it. I don't mean like win an Oscar, but You know what I mean? It's like making movies and stuff. It's like, yeah, let's just go.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely. What movies like were you watching before? Like you were really serious about movies. Like what do you remember watching when you were younger?
Oh god, it was more like just the superhero movies, like Spider Man and Batman Begins and stuff like that.
Of
Like
course.
like I still hold Sam Raimi's Spider Man really close to my heart. You know what I mean? But like it's just that's what I think is one of them movies. You know, you can just put it on and be like, yeah, just childhood in a nutshell. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Yeah,
like yeah, superhero movies and probably the Pixar films like Toy Story and stuff.
of course. Yeah.
And then I remember growing up and just like was I had Tsunami on the television as well, so it was like Batman Beyond and
Oh wow.
basically like I mean I should thank my mum for that because she was the one that was basically feeding me all these cartoons and films and like yeah, you know what I mean. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so and then it was like The Godfather and Danny Boyle were kind of the movies that made you start looking at it more seriously or more from an artistic perspective.
I think those movies were more like I realised what a director was. You know what I mean? Like um,
Yeah,
like he's the director, so it's like oh, because I think I've always been creative, but I could never really put a staple on what I wanted to be. Like first it was like a comic book artist, and then I realised, well, what does Danny Boyle do? And it says director, and I thought, like that's what I want to do. No, I want to direct and write. But I've always been like a writer as well, you know. So
oh interesting. It's like just like short stories or comic books obviously.
yeah, it was like I used to write and draw comic books in school, and then at like on the playground, I used to sell them as well, for like
Oh
20,
wow.
and then I got told off by the teacher, but I was like basically stealing the kids' lunch money, you know.
But you were giving them a piece some artistic creation though.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was doing, you know. Like, yeah, I'm off, you know what I mean? So, yeah,
That's a great training though, of doing your own comic books. That's basically like creating your own storyboards. You know, I think that is a great training ground for being able to think visually. You know, in terms of how to tell a story with an image. So I
yeah,
think that was probably like inadvertently you were sort of training yourself to think as a visual storyteller. So that's very interesting to me.
yeah. It basically was. Now I think about it, it was almost like training in a way. Like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, no.
Okay. Okay, so Danny Boyle was kind of like the springboard for you. Like, have there been any other directors that you've discovered that have really kind of informed you of like the style you want to have, the approach you want to take to filmmaking? Are there any like certain films or filmmakers that you can think of that really spoke to you and said like this is it? Like, there's something in here I need to try and absorb and use for my own. Have there been films like that or filmmakers like that?
Um, yeah, definitely. I think, like as I mentioned before, like Paul Thomas Anderson, he's like one of my favorites. Like I think he's like just a genius, you know. And
Yes.
also Richard Linklater. I just think like he's what's great about Linklater. I think is like he just makes films about life in general, and it's like I remember like recently I rewatched the Before trilogy. Have you seen those?
Yes. Yeah.
Like watching them all in one day, it was like at the end I was like, I don't know what to do. Now because it's like I've just watched basically this couple's whole life essentially. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I think he's really inspiring Linklater because he's another guy who just like a film like Slacker where it was kind of like he just picked up a camera and went. okay, let's go make a movie. You know what I mean? Like that's like,
Yeah.
and another one as well is like Shane Carruth. I think,
Yeah.
what can I say about Shane Carruth? He's just, yeah, I just think he's a genius. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I
These
think that
people.
way around's genius, but like the way he makes films is just like, and the way he goes about doing them, I think really just like it's something else. You know what I mean?
Are you talking about Carruth?
Yeah, yeah, Shane Carruth, yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and they're all filmmakers. Yeah, that just sort of they just went out and did it. You know, they didn't let anything stop them.
yeah, definitely.
And they're, or I think especially like Linklater and Danny Boyle, they're very versatile directors too. They can kind of fit comfortably in any genre.
Yeah,
And
I think that like I think Danny Boyle says, how was it? Never makes the same film twice, and like that's what a lot of people say as well. And I think that's definitely true because it's like they, I don't know, like Steve Jobs and then Trainspotting 2. It's like just two different films, and it's like that's what's really great. And yeah, Linklater as well. Like he'd make School of Rock and then do Before Sunrise in the same year. It's like I was doing that in 1 year. You know what I mean? It's crazy. You know?
yeah, yeah. Is that kind of what you see yourself doing? Like, are you not? You don't feel really tied to one specific genre. You kind of want to go here. You want to go there. I think certainly in the shorts of yours that I've watched, there's been a lot of variety there.
Yeah, definitely. Like I don't want to stick to one genre. I want to like explore different ones, and um, that's what I mean. Because like I've just been writing quite a bit recently. Like I wrote a feature film, which is like coming of age, like drama comedy. And like I'm writing like maybe another horror short. So yeah, it's just kind of I think it's finding out like what type of filmmaker I am as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of finding my feet in like terms of the style and what themes I want to portray in my films. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, branch out and try different things. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I think just even looking at your stuff, like Don't Look, I think is a really good example of of really tightly controlled horror filmmaking, where it is all about pacing and mood and atmosphere. But then it seems you're also pretty adept at doing something like Dropout and Kids, where it's just kind of about just two people interacting, a lot of improvised dialogue, just sort of spontaneous and in the moment. Like you can do both of those really well. So I think, yeah, you're displaying a pretty impressive amount of versatility in your work.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I would definitely direct anybody to your YouTube channel. Check out some of these shorts. Dropouts and Kids, Don't Look, Ram, Romantically Attached Machine, High Score. They're short, and I think they're very well put together, and you can see very impressive development for you as a filmmaker in each one. And I guess at the end here, I kind of just want to talk movies with you. Uh, okay. And yeah, so we talked about like the influential films on you and the influential directors. I kind of like to just get like just find out like what you've been watching recently and just some recommendations and stuff. So like, what's a film that you've watched recently that you were really impressed by? Like last movie you watched or something fairly recent?
Yeah. Well, today I watched this film called Boy by Taika Waititi.
I've heard of this. Yeah.
Oh, it's really good. Yeah, it's like I think it was the second film he made, and it was just because like I'm a fan of his as well. Like I love What We Do in the Shadows and For the Older People.
Yeah, I just saw What We Do in the Shadows like last week. I really liked it. It's very funny.
Yeah, it's so good. It's like so I mean I love the New Zealand humor. Like it's so funny. Like it's so deadpan and kind of dry. It's like you're just like oh my god. You know what I mean? It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
I was really impressed with Boy. Like, but it was like coming of age drama, but like really good humor in it as well, and was like
oh,
quite emotional at times as well. So yeah, Like, I'd highly recommend that.
Boy, I think I've seen this, like, in the US at least. But I think I saw that this was like, it just was put on Amazon Prime or something to stream.
Yeah, I think it was. It was shown over here on this channel, Film 4. And I think before it came on, he said that it was the first kind of broadcast of the film in the UK.
Oh,
So
wow.
I think it's just been because obviously he's done Thor Ragnarok now. It's kind of people are looking in his like filmography and like finding his gems. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, he's really exploding now.
Definitely, yeah.
It's very cool, yeah, to see that he started out with these little movies and now he's this big player now. It kind of shows like what's possible if you just do really good work. You know, people pay attention.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I knew him from like Flight of the Conchords as well.
I haven't seen the show. My brother watched it and he was telling me how funny it was. I still haven't seen the show though.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Like because he kind of he wrote and directed a few episodes of that as well. So
Okay.
yeah, I kind of knew him from there as well. So that was great. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, I really liked What We Do in the Shadows. That's the first thing of his that I'd seen. But yeah, I loved that it was really like a committed vampire movie. Like it sticks really close to the mythology. Like, and it actually is a really good vampire film. Like the set design and the costumes and the effects and everything are really good. But it's all used like in the employment of the story, you know, about of dealing with dirty dishes, all these mundane things, and nobody's really impressed at all by the supernatural elements. It's just kind of just as boring as any of the other chores and things.
Yeah. I think that there's a scene with the werewolves as well where they bump into the park. It's just like just hilarious. I think one of them says something and they go, we're not swearwolves or werewolves. And it's just like
Yeah, just everyone's dealing with these neurotic things. Yeah.
like the way you do it is like it's like everyday life, like what's like flatmates of vampires and werewolves are strolling across the street. It's like, oh yeah, that's the norm,
Yeah. They've still got to just deal with all the same crap the rest of us deal with. Just occasionally they have to transform in a full moon or drink blood or what have you.
Have you seen anything recently you can recommend? Or
Oh, that I would recommend. Gosh, what did I watch recently? I'm trying to think now. I just recently rewatched Free Fire. Have you seen that one?
oh yeah, the Ben Wheatley film.
Yeah, I liked that one a lot. I think it's like the third time I've seen it now.
Yeah, it's cool. Ben Wheatley. I actually went to a screening where they did a Q&A with Ben Wheatley, and like
Oh
yeah,
wow.
you actually like I think it was last year. I emailed like his agent asking for advice, and like he actually
Wow.
got me and watched one of my short films and gave me feedback. So like
Ben Wheatley did?
yeah, Ben Wheatley did, yeah.
That's very cool.
So like he's just like he's another guy that like as I was saying, like just went and did it, but
Absolutely, yeah.
that's
I'm sorry I missed that. The sound was cutting out. What'd you say?
I was saying I love Free Fire. That was a really great film, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think Wheatley's been doing some pretty good stuff like over the last few years, like Sightseers and Kill List, like combining all these different tones and genres. And Free Fire was more like just kind of a straightforward action movie, but still with this great concept behind it and kind of this idea that it stuck really devotedly to and that it executed really, really well. I thought that was a really fun movie. Like just it was very funny and just really solidly made, crafted action movie. I was very impressed by it.
Definitely, like that's the thing as well, because it was like full on action, but it wasn't all shaky cam. It was like really composed shots of like fast pushings and stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And I appreciated the retro approach as well, of like not using a lot of post-production work, but of like having actors firing blanks on set and having squibs go off, you know, trying to do it as much as possible, like in camera and physical. So it had that kind of visceral impact that like a John Woo movie has, where you do sense like there's some real physical danger involved. I like that very much. It makes it more impactful to me.
Definitely, yeah. I think you actually said in the Q&A as well that he went through like 12,000 rounds of blanks.
Wow.
Yeah, he just like, you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta admire that though, when a filmmaker is really dedicated to doing it a certain way. Those are my favorite kinds of directors and films, you know.
Definitely saying like, I think when it's in camera and like practical sets, it makes it more real, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I love that, you know, about the stuff, yeah.
Have you had the opportunity to mess around with stuff like that, like makeup effects and special effects, those kinds of things?
Um, I haven't personally, but I've seen them like when I've been on set and stuff. I've seen how they set it up, and it's like it's really interesting, you know. Like, because I was on set on. Have you heard of Peaky Blinders?
Yeah, yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, I was on there this year as a
Oh, wow.
and like yeah, the SFX guys were like setting up scripts and stuff, and that was really like interesting to watch. Yeah, that was great.
Wow. So anything else like noteworthy that you've been on seeing happen? So Peaky Blinders, like anything else?
Um, I think like last year I was on this drama on the BBC with Sean Bean in it called Broken. So that was really interesting.
What was it called?
Broken.
Broken.
Yeah,
Okay. Not familiar with that one. I know Peaky Blinders. I don't know Broken.
yeah. Broken was really good. Yeah, like Sean
Oh,
Bean proper gentleman. Like, yeah, so that was great.
that's very cool. Um, okay, so I think my last question here is, do you have like a recommendation for a film that like has long been like near and dear to you, like a movie you've always really loved that you feel like just isn't as well known or isn't as appreciated as it should be?
Oh, think have you seen Brick, the Brian Johnson movie?
What is it?
It's called Brick. Ryan Johnson directed it.
Brick. Yeah, I have seen this. Yeah.
I think that's just such an underrated film. Like it's so great, and like, in fact, it was his first film as well, and like it's just unlike anything like I've ever seen before. You know, so that was like that's definitely like underrated. I think.
Yeah, yeah. And Ryan Johnson now, of course, making Star Wars Episode 8. Really big filmmaker now, but yeah, Brick, yeah, that I would absolutely agree with you. That is a very underrated one.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing that it was made. Oh, sorry, am I cutting you off?
Oh no, yeah. Well, carry on.
No, that just the fact that it was made so cheaply. I think it was made for only $500,000, which in the film biz isn't much. But the fact that it's such a polished film, it's so well put together. It's this interesting take on film noir, but all taking place in a high school. Yeah, it's one I've always really liked, and yeah, it definitely indicative of what a terrific career that Johnson would have after that.
Definitely, yeah. I think as well, like just like another recommendation would be like like pretty much all the mumblecore movies. Like Joe Fromberg and all those guys, because like
Oh,
I think like they're quite inspiring because once again it was kind of they just like when they make films, but they made films about people their age and stuff and what was going on in their lives, and like I find those films really interesting to watch.
oh yeah, yeah. Any particular titles?
Um, oh, there's one. This guy made one. His name's Aaron Katz. He made one called Dance Party USA. Which is like it's super low budget. It's like he shot it on digital video, but like it's such like a great film, you know, like thematically wise and stuff. Like it's just about like teenagers over a few days, you know. So that's a great film, yeah.
Interesting. You say it's called Dance Party USA?
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Okay, Dance Party USA. I've never heard of this one.
Yeah, it's like I think they made that movie on like $6 grand, but it's just like such a great film. I think personally, you know, and it's not long as well. It's only on for like an hour and 6 minutes, so you know, just a quick watch, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a really good film, I think.
Yeah, I've been seeing a few more of like it was the brothers
Oh, Duplass Brothers.
Duplass brothers, yes. I've been seeing a couple of the things that they've been doing in the last few years, and yeah, there's definitely some good movies. I just saw what's the one I just watched? The One I Love. Do you know that one?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the one with Mark Duplass in it with what's her name? Is it Elizabeth Moss?
Yeah, yeah,
That's a great film.
yeah. Really like that one. Was very impressed. I haven't seen a lot of like the earlier stuff, like the real mumblecore stuff, but yeah, I'll have to check out. I'll definitely try and check out Dance Party USA. I have to look into some of that stuff.
I think the thing with mumblecore stuff, I think a lot of people get put off with it. Get put off with it because like, oh, it's shot like on digital, like it looks so like low tech, but it's like just put that aside and just focus on the story, and like the stories that they tell is like really great stories, you know.
Yeah.
I think what the Duplass Brothers, yeah. Like I'd watch the Puffy Chair as well. That's a great one. What about that?
Puffy Chair.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got like a beep or something. I don't know. Just something assaulted me in my headphones just now.
Yeah.
What?
I think it was my Facebook Messenger. Just like I got a new message. That's it. There you go.
It scared the hell out of me.
Pretty much.
Okay, I'll write down the Puffy Chair too, though. Puffy Chair. Okay, very cool. So I think that was about it as far as the interview goes. Thanks so much for coming on the show, man.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. Yeah. Like if you want to get me back on any time, yeah, just I'm here. So
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Just send me a message if you get another film, or if you just want to hang out and talk about movies. I'm absolutely game for that as well. So yeah, don't be shy about messaging me.
Definitely. Cheers, man. Yeah. Thanks. Keep up the great work as well, Henry.
Thank you very much. So yeah, check out Jack McLaughlin's work on his YouTube channel. Like I said, there's a link in the description for this video. You can watch his short movies and projects, including Don't Look, Dropouts and Kids, High Score, and Ram. Some good stuff there. So do give him a look and keep an eye out, because it looks like Jack McLoughlin is about to become a name to watch. Let's hope you get your feature made fairly soon.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man. Cheers.
Yeah, lots of luck. So thank you for joining me. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.